Where were you when Joe Messina ratted, Al DiArco ratted, Chucky Porter ratted, what's his name I was just talking about that just died, Natali, when he ratted, Leonetti ratted. They're all out there. Go kill them. Why are you talking about me for? I didn't take an oath to shit, first off. Second, you betrayed me. I didn't betray you. And third, I moved on with my life. I don't give a fuck what you guys are doing.
So you said they betrayed you, you didn't betray me. That's the same mindset Sammy the Bull had going into the trial.
Well, Sammy's full of shit. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. Then we can get into that. I want to know why you think that way. Because first, he was a made guy. He was the underboss of Gotti. Gotti was a legitimate heavyweight. You worked for him. You took orders from him, right? And his son's obviously was a good friend of yours. So how did a man in that position get to that position in the hierarchy? I know there's nepotism involved, but you still have to be capable because then no one would respect you, no?
Well, I invite you like I invite everybody. Do an interview with him, interview the guy, and ask him a specific question. Sammy, tell me how many times you pulled that trigger. I think it was once 50-something years ago, one time first. Second time is when he killed a 16-year-old kid, Kaiser, who's an innocent baby, not a gangster. And that's not what mob guys do, is kill innocent children. And his excuse for that killing was he witnessed some sort of crime and murder, whatever. I don't give a fuck what he witnessed. You knock on his door back in the late 70s, early 80s, and you say, hey, Pop, your son seen something. If anybody comes around, he saw nothing, you understand? And in those days, nobody talked. There was no cameras in those days. There was no talking to the police in those days. It was a different era. And I guarantee you, that kid would have never said a peep. He would have said, I didn't say anything.
How long have you known this for? This information where Sammy's only got like 2 bodies that he's pulled the trigger for under his belt.
Look it up. He said it himself in open court. He said it out of his own mouth. How long have you known? I know for years.
Okay, so when he got out of jail, you threw him some dollars to help him out, right?
He called me like everybody calls me, and they asked for help. And when he called me and asked for help, I gave him $3,000. Did he pay it back? That tells you his character. The man has screwed over everybody in his life since he's young. Since he started in the Colombo family, when the Colombo family wanted to kill him, his best friend Louis saved his life. And a thank you to Louis years later was he set him up and had him killed. So, you know, this is Sammy's personality. But when he talks about John, right, and I'll tell you about John, and John did this. First of all, Sammy, you took an oath, right? You're the Italian guy that took an oath. Second, you also said you love Brooklyn, you never want to leave, but you're staying here. Third, you got a record up on your wall that you killed Paul Castellano when you didn't kill him.
He was in the car across the street.
He wasn't even, I don't even believe that story.
Him and John were across the street watching it?
No,
they confirmed the kill?
That's his story. Who's confirming that besides him? Because I know Spark Steakhouse. I know the street. It's not, first of all, it's very simple. Why I call him a fucking liar that he wasn't there is because there's no way during Christmas with a body in the middle of the street with police all over and people, he claims he got around that body. He drove right next to it, looked down it to see if Paul was killed and Tommy Bilotti was killed, and then he drove past. That's not believable. You're not getting past that.
Okay, one last question before we'll keep going. But could you have said no to giving him money when he asked?
Yeah, I could have said no.
Well, why'd you give it to him?
I don't know. I tell you the truth, I shouldn't have gave it to him, and I helped a lot of guys. But one thing I did tell guys since I came home, this ain't like the old days. You fucked me once, you're done with me. I'll never be bothered with you again. And I kept to that.
Why did he turn on you?
Because he turns on everybody. It's why a snake is a snake. It's because he's a snake. Sammy's who he is. He's never going to change. He's done it this way his whole life. He's fucked everybody over any which way he can. And that's who the guy is. Is he a coward? Fucking he's a coward. He's hiding in Arizona. If you want to be that guy, sit here like I do. Be that guy.
Would you sit across from him and say these things?
Of course.
Face to face?
You know why he never did an interview with me? Because he's a fucking coward and he's a liar. And I can abuse him because I'm a guy that was really a shooter. He wasn't.
But he's an old man now. Do you think he's not?
Well, he's an old man. You're not going to fight him. He's just an old man. You're just going to talk.
Well, you think he can keep up with you? Because you're sharp. I'm not saying he's not sharp, but can he keep up with you?
Liars can't keep up. He's a liar. Because when you lie, you got to remember your lie is on top of a lie. When it's the truth, it's easy to talk.
Does it personally offend you when you hear other mob guys from the former of that life talking about their lives as if it's a fact and you know different? Or do you just let them talk? Like, how do you view that?
People talk. I look at people because they want to feel important. They want to feel like they know something. They want to feel like I always use this analogy. I don't talk about a car engine because I know shit about car engines. So why should I talk about a car engine? But these guys that don't know nothing about an engine, they'll still talk like they know. They'll still talk about, boxing, and they don't know how to throw a punch. They'll talk about Sammy Gravano as if they know what the fuck they're talking about the guy. And then he's bullshitting about John made him his underboss. They don't understand the mob. John Gotti, 110% factual, was killing Sammy. He was just, when you put a pig on a turn and you're gonna barbecue him, he was just oiling him down.
At what point
Eventually,
was he going to
kill him?
When he got caught in the 90s?
Oh, he was going to kill him before that. We spoke about it. And anybody with a half a brain knows.
John Gotti spoke to you about
Didn't want me to be friendly with Sammy because he wanted me to kill him eventually. So I knew he was getting killed. But for anybody that's listening to tapes in the Ravenite, when he's talking to Frankie Loke, he's telling Frankie Loke, without saying it directly, let's get rid of Sammy. He wanted Frankie Loke to give the okay, and he wanted to kill him. Not that he needed Frankie Loke's okay. And I'm talking about Frankie Loke's the concierge.
Why would he make Sammy his underboss if he was just going to get rid of him?
Because when you have Frankie DeChico was actually John's underboss. Frankie DeChico was close to Sammy. John wasn't close to Sammy. So when Sammy tells this tale of how close he was to John, John had no respect for him. You didn't see Frankie DeChico holding umbrellas for John,
for him on the surveillance.
but you see Sammy holding them.
Right.
So there's something that people got to really understand. But when Frankie DeChico dies, John needs somebody to run a crew from Brooklyn that's loyal to the Brooklyn crew that's already there. And that's Sammy fell into that spot. So he already had control of those guys first. Also, he needed to keep Sammy close because Sammy knew details about the Castellano hit because Frankie DeChico was close to him. So he put him in the know. John didn't really put him in the know as Sammy tries to portray the story. The story was from Frankie DeChico to Sammy. Frankie DeChico made Sammy money originally. Frankie DeChico brought him around. Frankie DeChico is the one that controlled him. He kissed Frankie DeChico's ass, Sammy. And when all this happened, when he ratted on John Gotti Sr., Joey DeChico, Butter, abused Sammy crazy in the videos. If somebody watches the old videos of Butter, Butter was the brother of Frankie, and Georgie DeChico was also a powerful captain. Why did he abuse him? Because he knew that Sammy was a fraud. And all of us knew that John had to keep him close at that time. And he had to keep him in a good position because he had to keep him next to him because you keep your enemies close. So you want to kill him, you can kill him anytime you feel like killing him. So he eventually was going to kill Sammy. He knew Sammy had to go. And that's one thing Sammy had a little bit of an instinct of. He knew that John really didn't like him. He knew he didn't respect him. He knew he'd eventually kill him.
But if that's the case, he talks highly of John till this day. He says that John is a capable killer. Don't get it twisted, that he's actually a tough guy, but he didn't need to do the dirty work anymore because he became boss. So first, why would he talk highly of John if that's the case? And second, do you think John Gotti was actually capable of handling like how you were?
Well, John's the boss now. It's like Paul Castellano, who's not a killer, but he killed more guys than anybody, Paul.
Paul was a killer.
He had, well, not in his own hand, but he had more guys killed than John did. But if Sammy doesn't talk about John, who the fuck is Sammy? No one even would know him. They only know him because of his storytelling. Without John, there is no Sammy. So he's got to constantly talk about John. And he's got to constantly talk about John and elevate John as much as he can because he's trying to elevate himself. So John didn't need to elevate Sammy. He says John only had to talk and do what he... Listen, Sammy can say anything he wants. I was around John since I'm a baby. I watched guys, if John told them, kiss my shoe, they kiss it. Kiss my ass, they'll kiss it. Go next door and eat fucking dog shit, they'll do it. I watch him control everybody. So anybody could say whatever the hell they want about John. They weren't there. They didn't sleep in his house. I did. I know exactly what he did. I know exactly how he treated all these guys, how he talked to all these guys, who he respected, who he didn't respect. One thing, John was a mastermind on how to manipulate people. So when Sammy's saying anything about John, I don't believe a fucking thing. Even when they got locked up, they knew they were getting locked up because I told them they were getting locked up because I had a detective, Phil Baroni, who worked for me, who killed with me, matter of fact, was with me when I killed George Grasso, was friendly with Coffee, Joe Coffey. Joe Coffey told them they were going to pinch John. Phil came back and told me. So they knew that was coming. So when Sammy pretends and he gives his storyline that nobody knows, there's a lot of guys that really know what went on here in the background. And he's just full of shit guy that's getting away with it for years because he throws that title around.